Hey everyone, this is David Brown with the migration update for May 17th, 2023 from the Braddock Bay Hawk Watch. I started the day out at the Beatty Point Trail, getting there around 6:30, and the photo may make it seem like it was a nice day, but actually it was a really cold morning. Temperatures were in the upper 30s, and there was a fairly brisk northerly wind. I had only been partway in, so I wanted to see what the rest of the trails were like, and I've heard it's just a really good birding spot, so I wanted to check it out on a day when I knew there wasn't much overnight songbird migration. In fact, Birdcast said there was only 8,700 birds that migrated through Monroe County last night, compared to like 1.2 million the night before. And I was really impressed by how big of a place it is, and I had it all to myself. And once you get away from the parkway, it's not too noisy with traffic noise, so it's just a beautiful morning, as you can see in this photo with the sun peeking out from behind a cloud. But here's where I got into trouble. I had taken a picture of the trail map and saw that there were some trails that went into the woods, so I decided it might be an interesting place to check out. And so I started going into the woods, and at first it wasn't too bad, but as I got farther in, there were just a lot of sections where there were plants and trees and stuff growing out, blocking the path. You had to bushwhack, push my way through it. And it got to the point where it was like, do I keep going or do I turn around and have to backtrack through everything I just bushwhacked through? And so I kept going until I pushed my way through some honeysuckle, and there, about 5 feet in front of me, just off the path to the right, there was a skunk staring at me. And I decided, okay, I'm not going to test it, not going to try to sneak past this skunk. I'll just turn around and go back the way I came. So I had to bushwhack and push my way through all the vegetation I had fought through already. But in the end, I made it back safe and sound, even though I had to bushwhack a little bit and walk through some pretty high grasses. The birding was fairly decent, although it was mostly towards the beginning on the nice paved trail. Didn't really get too much exciting stuff off in the woods or anywhere away from those nice trails at the beginning. But here we have a nice female rose-breasted grosbeak. After a quick trip back to the house to take a shower to make sure I didn't have any hitchhikers and to eat a quick breakfast, I made it out to the Hawk Watch around 9 a.m., knowing that it wouldn't be a particularly good day because of those moderate northerly winds. There were a fair bit of clouds in the morning, but by mid-morning they were clearing out, and the rest of the day was sunny with just a few clouds. And those moderate northerly winds weakened throughout the day and were pretty light by the late afternoon. And here I am looking a bit grumpy that I had to dig out my winter coat again. The only real non-raptor highlight today was this rusty blackbird that was perched up in the tree and singing a little bit. And I tried to turn it into a brewer's blackbird because they look very similar, but I think it's just a rusty blackbird. I saw a little bird bouncing by, so I took a photo, and it was a yellow-rumped warbler. There were some chimney swifts flying around overhead with their little chattery calls. This great blue heron gave a nice close look, in fact too close. The only photo that I got the whole bird in is when it really tucked its wings in. The American robin seemed to be doing a good job finding worms in the ground today. The grumpy-looking barn swallows were hanging out on the platform again today, and sometimes when you're walking down the ramp you can get pretty close to them before they fly away. There was a field trip today from a homeschool group, and it was a nice sunny day for it, but unfortunately not very good winds, so we went in with somewhat low expectations, but they did get to see this osprey fly over carrying a fish. And here's an immature bald eagle high overhead. Let's see if we can identify this bird. So the first thing that stands out is it has very pointy wings, and it was flapping like mad as it zoomed through. So those pointy wings and that speed make us think falcon. You can see it has a dark tail with some thin white bands on it. And if we look at the streaking, we see that it's got some dark vertical streaking. So overall, it's a small, dark falcon with a very aggressive flight style. So that makes this a Merlin. Taking a look at the eBird lists from today, at Beatty Point in the morning, I had 35 species. And at the Hawk Watch, only 48 species today. So not much variety, just not a lot of bird activity, not much migration going on with those unfavorable northerly winds. And taking a look at hawk count for our daily raptor totals, today we had 8 turkey vultures, 1 bald eagle, 1 red tail, 1 kestrel, and 2 merlins for a total of only 13 migrants. That brings the May total to 9,068 and the season total to 45,893. There were no new species for the season today. And taking a look at the forecast, tomorrow's looking sunny with the high in the low 60s. Winds are light and southerly in the morning and will probably shift to a lake breeze pretty early on. And when that happens, we may have to move over to Frisbee Hill Park. I would expect light, maybe moderate migration. For Friday, it's looking partly cloudy in the morning and then cloudy later. High in the upper 70s and winds south-southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. So these are excellent winds. Overall good conditions, especially those winds in the morning combined with some sunshine. Should be a big flight. We'll keep an eye on the final forecast tomorrow, but overall everything's looking like it's setting up for a big day for non-raptors and raptors on Friday. So even if you don't get out to the Hawkwatch, get out birding somewhere because it could get crazy. And for Saturday, it's looking cloudy with periods of rain. High in the mid-60s, winds southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. So those are good winds again, but that rain may hold back any raptor flight. I'd imagine we'll still get some stuff, and we'll see over the next few days what they're predicting with that rain. If they end up taking some of that rain out and we get some dry periods, even with the cloudy skies, I would expect a decent flight, and it could be good for non-raptors no matter what. Good southerly winds combined with some rain this time of year when a lot of shorebirds are on the move, a lot of songbirds still on the move. Could be some interesting things showing up and drop down by the rain. Well, today was a bit strange with the really cold temperatures and northerly winds, and actually tonight it's supposed to be even colder, down into the mid 30s. So there's a chance of frost many places. So unseasonably cold still, but again, by Friday afternoon, we'll be up to nearly 80 degrees again with good southerly winds all day on Friday and Saturday. So we'll get right back into the swing of things for spring migration. Every once in a while, it's nice to have one of these slower days to get an extra hour of sleep and a little bit of rest time in the evening so we can get up early for the good days coming up. Hope to see you out in the field soon or out on the platform. From Like-O Birds, this is David Brown. Thanks for watching.